kind of success and could well provoke a tremendous backlash against the lawlessness.
I want to talk briefly about the campaign and what the fallout from this Tulsa campaign rally. Your take on that, kind of let the air out of the balloon a little bit for the Trump campaign, who really wanted to bounce off of this, but it is early.
It is early, and this is the kind of thing we've been getting in the age of Trump and his opponents. Is we get into these huge controversies over the smallest matters. You know, the differences in the size of the crowd that attended the inauguration, the difference in the size of the crowd or who either attended or did not attend the rally in Tulsa, and so on. When you get down to it, Brett, that kind of stuff just doesn't really matter very much. I mean, in the end, this is going to be decided at the ballot box. And what's going to matter is, who comes out and votes and who doesn't. And, of course, we all, I think, Brett, at least I certainly thought that crowd size was not a good measure of Trump's support in 2016. It turned out that perhaps it was, but I don't think that this rally in Tulsa really tells us very much in the middle of a pandemic.
All right, Brett, and by the way, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, Brett. Don't ask me which one it was. Okay.
All right, I won't. Have a good one. In between this political race that's happening now. Let's bring in our panel. Charles Lane, opinion writer for the Washington Post, Molly Hemingway, senior editor at The Federalist, and Tom Bevan, Real Clear Politics co-founder and president. Molly, let me start with you. The campaign's also obviously pointing to TV ratings that were skyrocketing on this network, more than almost 8 million, 7.7 million, and online viewing. Should this matter? Britt Hume talked about it earlier. Should it factor in, and does it politically?
I think it does, and whether it was COVID or civil unrest or the curfew or media campaigning against the rally or hostile, tech companies working with that are controlled by hostile foreign governments, it's clear that this was lower than what the Trump campaign had hoped to see. But it's also true that even with these numbers, it's still at least 10 times what Joe Biden could draw for any such thing. And Joe Biden has very serious problems with enthusiasm that I think that should also be a part of this conversation. Even the worst poll for Donald Trump shows that he has a much better advantage on enthusiasm over Joe Biden. And I think what's interesting is we have had many months where it's like you could forget that there was an actual presidential campaign going on. And the Trump campaign knows they need to remind people that there is a campaign, that decisions have to be made, that people have to make choices. And so they're going to have some starts like this of rally events and get people, sort of force Joe Biden out onto the stage where he's been able to kind of lay low up until this point.
Tom, your thoughts on these numbers and what it means?
I'm going to disagree with Molly a little bit in the sense I don't think in the grand scheme of things this matters at all. I think Molly's right, though. I mean, the Trump campaign, look, to the extent that they focus on this and are spend all day defending it, is a missed opportunity. They need to make sure, they need to do two things. One, put out positive messaging about Trump's record, and two, put out negative messaging about Joe Biden and remind people that this is a choice. Because the more they can make it a choice as opposed to just a referendum on Trump, then the better off that they're going to be in the long run. So anytime that they're talking about anything else, whether it's the crowd size at the rally or the Bolton book or any of that stuff, it's a missed opportunity for Trump, I think.
All right, Chuck, I want to play another soundbite, the biggest soundbite that got the most attention and reaction to it. Take a listen. This is the testing one, I'm sorry.
You're going to find more people. You're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
It was a comment that he made in jest. It's a comment that he made in passing, specifically with regard to the media coverage.
It is clear he was not joking. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We're months out now from Donald Trump having said that everybody who wants a test can get one. That is obviously not true.
So, Chuck Lane, what do you think about that?
Well, what I think about that is that Tom Bevan keeps a great running tally on polling results, and they show that over 55% of the American people do not approve of the way the president is handling the coronavirus. And this performance in Tulsa is a good example why. Even if he's joking, it's not the sort of thing you joke about. This is a serious pandemic, obviously serious enough to deter people, or apparently to deter people from coming out to his rally. And he's treating it in this flippant, cavalier manner to include staging a rally without masks and so on in the first place. So, I think this there's no sugarcoating this. The Trump campaign is coming off the rails a little bit. He can always recover. He's got plenty of time. The economy comes back. It's not over yet. But he's done a lot of things, particularly in the affect and the demeanor he projects around the coronavirus, that just don't inspire a lot of confidence. And this was a very good case of that.